Warning, urgent breaking clickbait news. Huge, is Bitcoin actually turning bullish on the short term to match up with the mid and long term outlooks for Bitcoin's price? We're going to go into some very key things that are changing now for Bitcoin's price and that have changed in the last 24 hours. Guys, Bitcoin is currently doing something it has not done since August 14th, okay, over 2 weeks ago, and we're going to be delving into that on these short-term time frames, and we're going to show you exactly what's going on and what we expect the next move of Bitcoin to be in the very short term, with more and more people actually starting to believe that the next week or so will actually be less volatile and similar to the volatility we've been seeing over the past few weeks. And as well, if Bitcoin is repeating this fractal that we've brought up a few times now, this fractal actually shows that a move will be happening within the next day, and we're going to show you what that would be. And if it does repeat, then this fractal absolutely has insane validity to it. And later on, we're also going to be delving into a more longer term view of Bitcoin, because this cycle may actually be a little bit longer than previous cycles, but that also means most likely it will be stronger than ever. Wow, welcome back, men, women, children, and babies, to this extremely Sunday webisode. We have a lot to delve into with Bitcoin's price, because guys, are we actually going to flip short-term bullish, or are we remaining short-term bearish as we've been for the last few days? We're going to go over a few things on these shorter-term time frames, because there are a few very interesting things that we want to point out, okay guys, because we've actually broken into a key area, and we've broken into a key area on a different chart as well, above a moving average that we haven't broke above since over 2 weeks ago, back the first 2 weeks of August 2020. Wow, well, wow guys, this is absolutely massive, so we can't wait for this massive gainer of an episode. Things are about to get a little more exciting, and as well, we have a lot going on very shortly here, right? We have a weekly close coming today. We have a monthly close coming tomorrow. We have that prediction that many people were talking about like 2 or 3 weeks ago about that September 7th pump, okay, happening right around that area. So again, we're going to be talking about that as well. And as well, many other ooey gooey juicy news, guys. Absolutely huge. So if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, and if we guys, if we can hit 1,200 likes in this webisode, we'll be giving away a ledger in the next webisode. All you have to do to enter for these ledgers is leave a comment below, including the title of your favorite movie, and as well, make sure you are subscribed to the channel and you are entered to go. Absolutely mega big, massive, ginormous, guys. So let's actually jump into this first. So this fractal, we're going to be getting into what I think is happening short term, but I want to start off with this, guys. So this is a fractal that many people have been talking about for the past few weeks. We've actually been kind of following along with it. We haven't brought it up in the past few episodes, but what this is showing for the next 24 hours is actually very interesting. So basically, all you do to get this fractal is kind of copy the price action of this last pump that we had, that we were pretty much in this ascending triangle for like 3 months. You copy it over here, and then you just shorten it to match up with this. It's kind of like a smaller version of this. And guys, wow, look at that. It just fits right in like a puzzle piece, like a donut hole filling a donut, guys. Absolutely massive. So basically what this is showing here, if we zoom in, we're actually currently trying to get above this very key moving average for Bitcoin's chart, the 21-day moving average. As you can see right here, we're below it, right? However, what you can see, according to this chart, you can see very similar price action we've been mimicking almost to the T, but what this is showing now is actually a pump up to a very key area, again, about 11,800, even all the way up to about 11,911, or 11,900 at its peak there. So that's showing that. So guys, basically watch the charts. If we see a pump to 11,900 in the next 24 hours, then I'm pretty much sold on this, right? I'm basically very much a believer in this. But what that would look like on this chart as well would actually bring us almost to the top of this ascending triangle again. Now we have something very key we want to take a look at on this chart as well. We're going to delve into in that. But specifically, let's start out here, right? So what we were talking about in the last update is potentially if we get rejected off of this 200 moving average on the hourly chart, like we did back here on August 24th, and as well back here on August 20th, okay? So basically every time we've come up to it since the past 10 days, we've gotten rejected off of it. However, you can see now we did not get rejected this time, and we actually broke out of this horizontal resistance box that we have here, and we're actually above this. So in the past, when we've gotten rejected, we have pretty substantial pullbacks. However, when we've gotten bounces and we've actually gone above it, you see we get pretty big, nice pumps. We got one here, okay? We got one where we initially got rejected, found support along this channel here, and then bounced above it, and then we ended up pumping, I think that was the time we pumped to 12.5. Yeah, that was when we pumped to 12.5. So we've gotten some pretty strong bounces after getting above this on these shorter time frames. So that's very interesting. And as well, we had some exaggerated divergence here. This was very key, where we have a low and then the exact same area where the second low was, but you can see here the RSI was telling us a different story. We had RSI come down to about 17, and then when it came down to this low, the same exact area, it was actually about double that, around 35, and that is what's considered a bullish exaggerated divergence. And because of that, we actually ended up going up, right? I think we went from 11,140 all the way to, well, I mean, technically this move is still going up. So 11,140 to currently about 11,670. Currently, this is still on an uptrend, though. We're still getting kind of a bounce out of this on the smaller time frames there. Muy bien, muy bueno, guys. And then if we switch here to this 4-hour chart, this is what's really interesting here. So I haven't talked about this until this episode, but I've seen people, analysts, talking about this across the space, specifically Crypto. I know was talking about this for a few days at least, I believe. But I think he might have actually been the first one to bring it to my attention. But anyway, the falling wedge kind of pattern that we have here. So this is really interesting because we have this ascending triangle. You can see it here. And we have this potential falling wedge where technically we actually broke out of this falling wedge about 2 days ago, right? But what happened is we initially found immediate resistance at the bottom of this, so it validates kind of both of these patterns. Both of these patterns are in play, and both of them are pretty much just generating extreme resistance on this chart. So we had support where we broke out of this, we come up and immediately find resistance on this, but then what's awesome is we do find support after we get pulled back. We initially face the resistance, we come right back down to it, and then we also find support there, so it validates this is resistance, it validates that this is support, and then naturally what happens after you come down after facing that resistance, finding support, you normally head up. But guys, this is where things are really key because we're again pretty much facing extremely heavy resistance right here. We got the support after you would see out of a falling wedge breakout, but the breakout target of this is like over 12,000, right? It's a pretty high breakout target. And we have not reached that. Okay, we've gone up what? We've gone up like $250. So again, not a massive breakout. And I think that's why so many people are getting faked out right now, because we're seeing these technical patterns and we're actually seeing them play out in terms of support, but we just are not getting any substantial breakouts, right? So normally what you would see on this, you would see it break out here. I mean, it barely went anywhere, but you see it immediately face resistance, come down, it found support where it needed to on this descending line of support, which is the top of the falling wedge. And then you would anticipate a breakout. But again, guys, we're like barely breaking out. This is what? After we found support, we jumped, again, like $200 max. So it has not been very strong. And with that being said, we want to take a look at these more macro charts because basically what's been happening here as well is that this is on the daily now. This last one was on the 4-hour chart, and we were also looking on the 1-hour chart. So now we're going to zoom out a little bit on the daily, and you can see every substantial break we've gotten over the past 6 months, basically, has been after a few months of consolidation. You see it here on the volume, where the volume just continues to decline, and then we get a break, and then volume continues to decline, we get a break, volume continues to decline, and what do you notice now? We're getting very close to where that same level where we've seen breakouts of this. Okay, it even could push us all the way back for a few more weeks, which is what this pattern shows, but it could be earlier, and a lot of people are actually talking about it being the first week of this new month, so basically just a few days away from now. Basically, the 40 line on the RSI is pretty important. You can see it's right about here. This is where we come in substantial rejections and support. We recently found support here back at the end of June, the very beginning of July, and that was before one of these bigger bounces here, right? We found support there, and then we continued up and oscillated on the RSI there. Very interesting. Wow. So to sum everything up, okay, kind of give you an answer here, we had a bullish pattern forming amongst this bearish pattern, and the bullish pattern being this falling wedge amongst the, actually, no, this is also a bullish pattern, this ascending triangle. We were just breaking out of it. Now, both of these are two short-term bullish patterns, but basically what's happening right now is that we're just finding resistance along every single little piece of this. So also what that indicates is very low volatility. Okay, we're getting these patterns and we're kind of finding them for support and finding resistance with them, but barely anything is happening. The price is not pumping or dumping. It's not doing anything, meaning it's not volatile. And with that being said, I want to show you this quick article here by Joseph Young. History shows Bitcoin price may take a while to break, but why a slow grind upwards is crucial in this phase. So basically, prepare to be patient in Bitcoin. Each up cycle takes longer to play out and is less extreme as absolute dollar value gets much larger. May or may not take another 6 months for an absolute massive rally. Holders should rejoice. We have some more time potentially to accumulate. Guys, ultimately, I 100% agree. This is extremely bullish. I'm not bearish at all in general. When I was saying I was bearish over the last few days, as I stated, it was short term, like over the next 2 to 3 days. However, in this video, I'm making the case that we might be turning short-term bullish instead of bearish. However, guys, to be honest, it's still pretty neutral. And the reason that it's neutral is because we're getting patterns, we're getting breaks exactly as we would expect. However, the volatility is so low that the prices are not like doing much, right? The prices are barely moving, which is why people are bored. But again, also this does happen, and we're talking about in this article why this is good for Bitcoin. So as well, you can see the last few cycles. So this red line is the first cycle, this blue was the second, the green was the third, and now the fourth is where we're on now. And if you notice with the fourth one, it seems to be the longest. So far, it's taking the longest to curve upwards. And if we're anything like the last three, then that is a pattern we expect to repeat, right? The first cycle was extremely vertical, extremely parabolic. The second one was like twice as long. The third one was like twice or like 2 times as long as that, and about 3 times as more as the initial one. And now this fourth one looks as though it's going to be even longer than the third one, which is this green one. So it looks as though this fourth cycle, the purple cycle, is going to be even longer than all 3 previous cycles, as the pattern so far has been repeating. So what that means is that it may take longer for Bitcoin to explode and for this space to explode. However, it will most likely be stronger as well. So that's very interesting to note. So with that being said, we really have to watch out for this. Even if we do break 11,700, I don't think it's straight to 12K, right? Unfortunately, for everybody that really wants to see massive price action here in the short term, we do have over the past 2 months, or actually, sorry, 1 month, some very decent trading volume and some decent resistance lines now on these charts. Specifically, flipping 11.8 might get us above 12, but guys, we have to remember this horizontal level of 12 is huge. It's psychological, but now as well, we have some decent previous trading volume in the last month, previous trading areas that are now acting as resistance for Bitcoin. And guys, ultimately, another reason I'm considering flipping short-term bullish instead of bearish is because we're getting so many patterns that could easily plummet Bitcoin to low levels, but we're just not getting them. Similar to how we're getting bullish patterns that we're just not breaking out bullish either. We're getting short-term bearish patterns that could push us low and nothing happens. And we're getting short-term bullish patterns that could push us up and nothing happens with that either. Basically, my point is we're not doing anything. Price is not reacting substantially at all. And at a key level, a key point in Bitcoin's price like we're seeing now, that's actually not a bad thing, okay? We're approaching the very last significant resistance for Bitcoin's history. Okay, again, like I've said, I don't think 20K means anything. We barely traded above there, right? We had, 2 weekly closes around that area. Basically, the last significant area of resistance is here, around 14. When we're breaking 14, I think we have a clear shot to be breaking 20K very soon after that, and then breaking 20K, guys. I mean, the exuberance will be huge. It will be exploding past 20K, right? I could see 25, 30 very, very soon after breaking 20K. So when we approach 20K, I think it's going to be off to the moon. But again, this is the last historical resistance. And as well, I believe it is a significant Fibonacci level here. Let's actually just pull it out. I think it is it's the 786. So right at the exact same area. It's 13.1-ish. So right around that 13 and 14K level. So that is the biggest area to watch. Absolutely massive, guys. So we're going to be watching the charts, but basically just have this thing pulled up. And yeah, if you're interested in joining, if you're interested in getting access to these charts, if you're interested in learning how to trade, if you're interested in learning my portfolio and following along with that and what I'm investing in, and then make sure to check out T4. We'll be ending the sale very soon here. I think we said a few days ago at the end of the month. So about 2 or 3 more days before we actually end that. Might extend it a day or 2 into September. But yeah, use code millions at checkout to get 15% off. And as well, we do accept crypto. Just shoot me an email. And we have a discount for crypto as well. Yabba dabba do. Let's get this crypto.